The Agile testing quadrants. The Agile testing quadrants separate the whole process into 4 quadrants and help you to understand how Agile testing is performed. The testing is done in quadrants 1 and 2 are more requirements specification and design aid, what we typically think of testing. Using tests to support the team. The tests in quadrant 1 and 2 are written to help the team deliver the business value required by the customers. They verify that the business logic and the user interface behave according to the examples provided by the customers. There are other aspects to software quality, some of which the customers don't think about with the help from the technical team. And those are: is the product competitive? Is the user interface as intuitive as it needs to be? Is the application secure? Are the users happy with how the user interface works? We need different tests to answer these type of questions. If you have been in customer's role and had to express your requirements to a software feature, you know how hard it can be to know exactly what you want until you see it. Even if you are confident about how the feature should work, it can be hard to describe it so that programmers fully understand it. Appraising software products involves both art and science. You should constructively review the software to learn how you can improve it. As you learn, you can feed new requirements and test them, which will support the team and guide development. Now let's closer look at these quadrants. Quadrant 1 represent test-driven development, or TDD, which is a core Agile development practice. The internal code quality is the main focus in this quadrant, and it consists of test cases that are technologically driven and are implemented to support the team. The process of writing tests first helps programmers design their code well. This test lets programmers confidently write code to deliver stories, features, without worrying about making unintended changes to the system. They can verify that their design and architecture decisions are appropriate. Unit and component tests are automated and written in the same programming language as the application. A business expert or stakeholder couldn't understand them by reading them directly, but these tests aren't intended for the customer use. Internal quality isn't negotiated with the customers. It's defined by the developers. Developer tests are normally part of the automated process that runs with every code check-in, giving the team instantly continual feedback about their internal quality. And it includes unit tests. Is a type of software testing where individual units or components of the software are tested. The purpose is to validate that each unit of the software code performs as expected. Unit testing is done during the development or coding phase of application by the developers. Component tests. Component testing, also known as a program or module testing, is done after unit testing. In this type of testing, those test objects can be tested independently as a component without integrating with other components, for example, modules, classes, objects, or programs. The purpose of the Quadrant 1 tests. Unit tests and component tests ensure quality by helping the programmers understand exactly what the code needs to do and by guiding the right design. They help the team to focus on the stories that's being delivered and to take the simplest approach that will work. Unit tests verify the behavior of parts as a small and single object or method. Component tests help straighten the overall design of the deployable part of the system by testing the interaction between classes or methods. Now let's take a look at Agile Quadrant 2. The test in a Quadrant 2 also support the work the development team, but at a higher level. These business-facing tests, also called customer-facing test and customer test, define external quality and the features that the customer wants. It contains test cases that are business-driven and are implemented to support the team. With Agile development, These tests are derived from examples provided by the customer team. They describe the detail of each story. Business-facing tests run at a functional level, each one verifying a business satisfaction condition. They are written in a way business expert can easily understand using the business domain language. Quadrant 2 tests are oriented toward illustrating and confirming desired system behavior at a higher level. This quadrant focuses on the requirements. Type of tests performed in this phase are functional testing, which are a type of software testing that validates the software system against the functional requirements or specifications. The purpose of functional test is to test each function of the software application by providing appropriate input, verifying the output against the functional requirements. Functional testing mainly involves black box testing, and it's not concerned about the source code of the application. This testing checks user interface, APIs, database, security, client or server communication, and other functionality of the application under test. The testing can be done either manually or using automation. Story tests are business-facing tests intended to be used as an aid to communicating with non-programming members of the development team, such as the customers, users, business analysts, and so on. When automated, they describe the system in domain-oriented terms, ignoring the component architecture of the system itself. Business-facing tests are often used as acceptance criteria. Having such tests pass indicates the system provides the functionality that the customer expects. Automated business-facing tests are often represented in some form of domain-specific language, since this helps communication with non-programmers and also help give programmers a mechanism that helps them step back from the details of the code. Tools like Cucumber and Twist help design such as DSLs and provide mechanisms to bind them to the system under test. Now, I'm a big fan of the automated testing, but it's important to recognize that manual tests play a significant role in a business-facing testing. Techniques such as exploratory testing and usability testing are inherently manual activities and are an essential part of the well-balanced test portfolio. Prototype testing consists of sharing prototypes or wireframes with participants to view on their desktop or mobile device to assess the viability of design during the development cycle. And simulation test is a simple and operational test with sensors used to identify which systems have been damaged by simulated firings using the real force and real equipment. It is the closest exercise to real use.